morning. Sidra is at home. She's not feeling well this morning. So she's just, she took the day off from work. It's one of those things where before COVID, you know, when you got the sniffles and you didn't feel good, you thought it was a cold, maybe the flu. Now you get all paranoid and you get all worried. You know, Sidra was like, I'm not feeling good this morning, you know, and she hadn't felt good over the weekend. But, you know, it's one of those things where you don't really think about it until she said something. She was like, I'm not feeling good. I'm just going to call off work this morning. And I'm like, okay. And then that's when I got all worried, you know, and I started like, because like I said, you know, COVID is real. You know, I know people argue and debate about it, but COVID is real, and you don't want to not neglect it. You know, the way I feel about it is yeah, you know, I think maybe, and this is just from talking to friends who did have COVID, most cases it's not going to really affect you unless you have some bad health problems, you know. And I know I've seen the news that said, person was totally perfectly healthy and fine, and they, you know, got COVID and died. You know, maybe that's a rare instance. I don't know. Something that you don't want to fool around with, though, you know, and just say, it's not real, and then something happens. So this morning, you know, I was all worried. You know, I was like, are you sure you're okay? And have you felt like this before? You know, it's all, you're asking all these questions, and she might just have the flu, you know. But she said if it continues, she's going to call her doctor and then you have a COVID test done. But it's one of those things where this is where COVID has everybody now, where, you know, you might just be sick from something else, but you overanalyze everything. And on the drive to work, I started thinking like, you know what, but what she said is how she felt before. And, you know, granted they said that, you know, it has flu-like symptoms and so on and so forth. So I think it's going to be kind of crazy for people over the wintertime, when, you know, they get the flu or they get cold. They get it cold and they start second guessing what they have. I don't know, I guess the best thing is to just stay positive. Even for us, we felt it. We felt the blah of everything going on, you know, the election process, all the fighting between Americans, you know, over race, and all the protests, which I thought were a good and positive thing. I don't think, you know, when there are things that are being done wrong in this country, you got to speak up. But, you know, there was a lot of unrest, a lot of racial tension. You know, the children, you know, dealing with not going to school. Some cases not seeing some friends. Most of their friends they haven't seen since COVID jumped on the scene, and they couldn't go to school. I mean, the only time they've seen their friends is video chat or on their Xbox. Gia asked would she ever be able to go to school again. She missed it. My younger son Jaden, you know, he said it was kind of weird. And, you know, he wanted things to get back to normal. And then I have my older son, who he is autistic, and so he thinks a little differently than other people, more efficiently, if you ask me. But and it breaks my heart. You know, my older son, you know, he says, well, there's people that I talk to, but I don't have any friends, Dad. And the way he says it like he's alone. And that is why I make that extra effort with, you know, all my children. But I focus on Dom in that sense because, you know, he has his cousin. And that's good. At least he has his cousin. But I like to, you know, make sure I check up on him. We talk. It lets me know how he's feeling. But even he, with all that going on, said, you know what, I'm ready to go back to school. Now, in their case, they went back to school. My older son went back to school. He's in a different school district. He's going to school. So when he went back, he said, you know what, Dad, with all the negativity of the students and all the stupid things that are going on in school, I'm glad I'm back in school. So that says a lot of how, you know, he wanted it back to normal, even though I don't like his normal. All of these things, you know, have put weight on our family, just like it has everyone else too, all the other families. And the more weight that we got, the more we just loved each other, the more we talked to each other, the more we wanted to understand, not try to understand, but made sure that we understood more about each other. And we just got closer. Everybody stay positive. Don't try to stay positive. Stay positive. Think of things you can do, you know. Not to just distract yourself, but to get yourself immersed in something positive. You know, distraction means that eventually that distraction is going to go away. And then you're going to focus back on the negative things. Do things that don't just distract you. Do things that, you know, train your mind to be positive and to feel better even when it's going to be crappy. Because I tell you what, we are still going through some trying times in our family, financially. And, you know, this isn't a thing of me feeling sorry for myself. None of that. I'm just being honest. I keep it real like I always do. We got approved for a new house, another house. Right now we're renting again, so we got approved for a house loan. So we got approved for that. And that was our goal. You know, we're going to get a house next year. And I don't know if that's going to happen right now. I was upset about it at first. And if I allow myself to get into that zone, I can get upset over it again. But we have so many things we have to take care of financially. Just simply, we need to eat. You know, we need to keep our utilities on. The place that we rent from, when COVID first hit, and they had that program where the place that you rent from, you know, would be able to forgive you for not being able to pay your rent. At least some places that didn't happen in. It did happen here in Ohio, where they said, you know, if they right now, if you cannot afford your rent, do not worry about that. Not ours. You know, we had friends who said that their landlords said, yeah, they forgave. They didn't at ours, you know. Our landlord said, nah, you got to keep paying that rent. So that's another reason why we have been the negative in our bank accounts more than positive. So we just got to keep it positive, man. There's so many times I can sit back and I can just be like, oh man, this is a lot going on, you know. And you can tell when this starts growing out, because usually I try to keep this down. I either have a goatee or I just shave it all off. But it's been, you know, pretty crazy week. And that's why I look forward to when my sons come over. I enjoy spending time with them. And anyway, I don't want to keep blabbing. I'm sorry. But I just want you to stay positive. Focus on your family. Focus on your friends. Check in on your family and friends. You know, I feel bad because I usually talk to my mom a lot. I haven't talked to my mom in about a week. I got to call her, see how mom is doing. You know, the way I work, my personality is when things start getting too heavy, I don't want to be a burden to others. So I tend to just withdraw and deal with it. And then I open back up. And that's not a good thing, you know. Now, with my wife, it's different. I will talk to her. But even her, I don't want to. And some of you might know what I mean. Like, you don't want to burden, you know, your spouse. But that's not a burden. Now, when you got married, that's something you both agreed on together to work through things. And once my mind works properly like that, then I say, let me talk to, you know, let me open up and talk to my wife about what's bothering me. And then after that, I'm fine. I also talk to God a lot. I'm not trying to sit here and preach or anything, but that helps me. And I don't mean like drop on my knees, and I mean, excuse me, I've had situations even recently where I'm like, I just start talking. I just start talking to God. I'll be driving, talking to. I talk to God more like that than I've ever talked, to dropping on my knees and all that stuff. And I said that I'm not trying to preach because I'm not a hypocrite. I have my weaknesses. I have things that I do that I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect human being by any means. So, but I still enjoy talking to God. I don't want to keep going on here. I hope everyone enjoy your week, enjoy your day, keep it positive. I'm going here and check on my wife, make sure everything's okay. Take care, everybody.